Yo, what up, guys? There we go. Good morning. Let's find some bets. So I did not realize yesterday we cashed a parlay play slip. So where is it? And I did not realize how bad. So yesterday we cashed this slip. This slip was from the live stream a couple of days ago, 5 out of 5. But what I didn't realize is how bad of beats we had on some of these other ones. We had James Conner under 17.5 receiving yards to get a $1,500 payout. This would have been. Instead, he gets fucking 18 yards. So we end up with the 150 payout as opposed to 1,500. And then same thing here with Estime. Over 73.5 yards. Homie ends up with 70. Again, we still win 150, but I mean, crazy. But anyways, without further ado, what we can do is we can start to look at some bets. We got some decent looking plays, it looks like, on Underdog Fantasy. But we can just kind of see what's out there in the market. So we can start out, I say this in every video, but OddsJam has 200 sports books. If you check out the positive EV tool, there are tons of good bets, right? There are tons of, opportunities on FanDuel, stuff like that. But FanDuel's not a book I currently have access to, but like this bet looks really good. Matt Chapman over 1.5 bases. You're getting plus 165 on FanDuel. All the other books are pricing this around, plus 125, plus 130. That seems pretty good. But anyways, what we can do without further ado is we can start looking for some underdog. Maybe we start out on Underdog Fantasy, whatever. So what play was I just looking at? Here we go. So this play is kind of interesting. So if you check out this play, for example, let's go here. So we want to go to Serie A. There were some pretty good bets in soccer. So if we go to, player shots attempted, and let's start out looking at this pick, right? We want Florian under 2. So this game, Serie A, starts at 11:45 a.m. PST. But anyways, why do we like this pick? You can kind of take a look, right? You can kind of see here, this is called the Sportsbook screen on OddsJam. Just kind of gives you a grid layout. Again, what's crazy about sports betting, right, is all of these sports books set lines independently, right? They all have, it's fucking crazy if you think about it, right? It's like if you went to a Fidelity and a stock was $15 and then you went to E-Trade and it's $20, right? 1.5 versus 2. Like, these things are crazy. And this really is how you get an edge. Like, I'm not saying this play on Florian is a lock, right? I'm not saying any BS like that. But you can see Underdog has his line at 2. Okay. We have another data point, PrizePicks, who's saying no. His line should be at 1.5. Then you got FanDuel, DraftKings, and 10Bet. So you have 3 sports books that are like, no, his line should be at 1.5. Right? So it's like, damn. In FanDuel, they have the over 1.5 at plus 100. So even though they're not giving you odds on an under, I've explained this kind of before. But if we go over to a lot of these books have one-way markets. So you can see here, like FanDuel has Florian over 1.5 shots at plus 100, but they don't have odds on the under. They're not giving you a price or odds on the under, which is kind of weird. But you'll see a lot of sports books do that, right? Like you can see Bet99. They have Justin Jefferson to score a touchdown, minus 120, but they're not giving you odds on, kind of an under. But what you can usually do is you can kind of assume, like, okay, this power play, right, for Aaron Jones. And again, this is just the sportsbook screen where you can kind of browse any market, whatever. But like you can see here for Aaron Jones, homie's plus 125 to score a touchdown on both these sports books. Power play is only giving you a one-way market, right? They don't have odds on the under, but you can obviously assume it would be roughly the same as Play Alberta, which I assume is a Canadian sportsbook, who's pricing it at minus 182. Same thing with PointsBet, right? So long story short, it's pretty clear, FanDuel would probably have this like minus 140 or something. So they have the under favored in the first place. And, FanDuel has the line lower and they have the over not favored and we're getting under 2. This play seems really good. So that can be the first play that we go with. And then we can head back, to this kind of fantasy optimizer, which again, like it's not going to do any magic. All it's going to do is scan PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy, kind of all these fantasy sites. There's tens of thousands of lines on these platforms and kind of help you zone in on like, oh, where are these books, screwing up? And again, sometimes there's good soccer bets. Here, Underdog Fantasy has the line at 2. You got DraftKings, you got all these other platforms saying, no, his line should be lower at 1.5. But anyways, we can go back here. And that you can see is the top play. So then we can be like, okay, let's check out some of these other picks. Right? So what we can do is, are all these Serie A, or we got some La Liga. So we can check out like some of these other players too. And, again, sometimes there's decent value, but whatever. Let's take a look. So honestly, not a ton of plays right now. I mean, we can go to NFL. We can see if this play is incredible. So I definitely want to find some pairs to go with. Definitely want to find some pairs to go with. So you can see here, they already have some TD lines up. Russell Wilson, Jalen Hurts, stuff like that. So like Kenneth Walker, for example, we can take a look at, player touchdowns. We can see what's the deal with Walker. Kenneth Walker. It doesn't even look like sportsbooks really have lines up for Walker yet, to score a touchdown for Sunday's games. It looks like it's basically just Underdog Fantasy that has lines up. So it's like, okay, like, what else can we go with? So let's go back to Underdog Fantasy. We have one really good pick. So ideally we can find some other plays. Some other plays to go with. So like this play, for example, Thrash under 5.5 receptions. Why is OddsJam saying we take the under 5.5 receptions? We can kind of just like pull up the market, take a look at the data, see what's out there. So, it's like, here it kind of, there's this big discrepancy between Underdog and FanDuel. FanDuel has the line at 4.5, Underdog at 5.5, but Flip also has the market at 5.5. So we have this discrepancy in the market, but like, again, like, it's not like all these sports books are aligned in where the line should be. So we can check out this play as well. No. So usually I don't like to like kind of go down into these. Well, here we can check out, So we have Willie Adames not to score a run. Okay, so this seems decent. And again, on Underdog Fantasy, if you just kind of go through, the math behind this platform. So what I can actually do is pull it up. So for all these different types of, slips, right? Underdog Fantasy, for any 2-pick entry, you're getting a 3x payout, right? For any 3-pick entry, you take overs, unders, whatever, you're getting a 6x payout. For any 4-pick entry, you're getting a 10x payout, right? And then, it's the same thing with insurance. There's fixed payouts. But what you can kind of do is go through Underdog and see like, okay, like what type of slip is optimal. And you're going to see it's actually these 3-pick entries, right? So 3-pick entries, you're getting a 6x payout, which is pretty good because if you look at, like PrizePicks, they fucking rip you off for these 3-pick entries. They're only giving you a 5x payout. So 5x versus 6x. So like when you go through Underdog, what you're going to see is like, this is a fixed payout platform. They're always giving you the same payout. Depending, you take overs, unders, football, baseball, whatever. You're always getting a 6x payout. So it all boils down to like, okay, like, what percentage of your picks can you win? And to be profitable on Underdog, you got to win 55% of your picks. So there's a couple ways we can do that, right? The first way is like what we just showed, kind of like with this play on Florian, is we find these line discrepancies, right? Underdog has their line at 2. Literally the rest of the market, every other sportsbook has the line at 1.5. FanDuel has the line at 1.5, and they're telling us the under should be favored, right? But we can also just like compare to sportsbooks. So, if you look back here, and again, it's not like the craziest play in the world. It's in yellow. So usually the yellow plays, kind of want to avoid them. Kind of keep them for like 5-pick entries. So we don't necessarily have to go with this. But if you look at, Willie, right, to not score a run, is you're going to see like if we go to DraftKings, right? Do we want to take his over? Or do we want to take his under? So if we go here and we go to player runs, where are we going here, right? And we go to runs scored, Willie, right? You're going to see DraftKings has him heavily favored to not score a run. His under is the favored outcome. You know, like the same way the Eagles are the favored team against the Washington Commanders, Willie Adames is favored to go under. So, damn, there must not be a lot of baseball or something today because there are just not a lot of lines available. But anyways, so like, you can kind of see here, damn, there are some interesting plays popping up. So maybe let's skip over. I mean, we have this one really good pick. I would love to find some pairs for it. Would love to find some pairs for it, but, you know. And again, like, you know, yeah, let's come back in a sec. So what we can do is we can go over to ParlayPlay for a sec. Hopefully this play is still available. Again, ParlayPlay, we've been hot. We hit 2 big parlays, right? We hit this one. And then we also had 2 really bad beats. And what's great about ParlayPlay is they have better payouts than PrizePicks. I've explained this in other videos, but they have better payouts than PrizePicks, which obviously makes it easier to make money. So what we can do is we can go over to ParlayPlay quickly and, you know, damn. So like this play, so La Liga. So if we go here to, you know, La Liga, and then we go to shots attempted, it's like, okay, like, you know, let's take a look at this guy, right? Let's take a look at Jude Bellingham, right? This play seems really good. So you can see the 2 other fantasy sites have his line at 3. FanDuel has his line at 4.5, but the under's favored. DraftKings has the line at 3.5. And again, soccer can be a little weird, you know, with players like starting versus not starting. But I mean, again, like, you know, you can see here, it's like, okay, like the other fantasy sites have his line at 3. ParlayPlay, I don't know why, but they dropped his line to 2.5. I feel like they were at 3 yesterday. And it seems like there's pretty clear value on this play. So another play, I already locked this in. ParlayPlay, unfortunately, you know, they have pretty low betting limits. But if you look at NFL rushing yards, like this play seems really good. So on ParlayPlay, if you go through the math behind ParlayPlay, kind of similar to Underdog, on ParlayPlay, like they have fixed payouts. So all you got to do to be profitable is win above 53.2% of your picks. So they have better payouts than PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy, stuff like that. So if you look at Raheem, right, obviously, you know, he's been playing incredible, taking an under for him. You know, maybe certain people won't want to do it, but you can see here, right, like, okay, like ParlayPlay has his line at 60.5 rushing yards. Every other sports book has his line at like 50.5, 55.5 on PrizePicks. Damn, you can see the markets moving on this sportsbook screen. Line movements are highlighted in green and red. You can see Pinnacle right here, right, the penny column. They have his line at 54.5 with the under heavily favored, right? They have the under at -144. So again, as a sports bettor, like we're considering all this information. What you could also do is, again, I already bet this. What you could also do is you could hit his under here, right? And you can also like slide the line. They let you bump a line in your direction once per day. But what you could do is you could hit the over on PointsBet. If you use PointsBet, we always talk about the benefits of having multiple sports books, right? You could hit the over on PointsBet, over 50.5 rushing yards, and the under 60.5 on ParlayPlay. Then you have a 10-yard middle, right? If, you know, he has 51 to 60 rushing yards, you're going to win both bets, right? Take his under 60.5, take his over 50.5. It's like buying a stock for 50.5, selling it for 60.5. $10 profit. That doesn't seem too bad. But anyways, let's go back here. Let's see what else. What else are you going to recommend to me? Damn. So let's go back here. Let's go to Underdog Fantasy too. Maybe we got to find a play on Underdog Fantasy. We got to find something to pair with this Florian play. We got to have a soccer play early in the morning. So we can go back here. And I mean, this play looks incredible, right? So you got anything else for me? So, and again, like 5 pick insured entries are slightly better, you know. But anyways. So maybe what we go with next is on ParlayPlay. And again, you can slide the line. You can bump it in your favor, it's going to reduce your max betting limit to only $20. But like, let's say, you know, we really like him under 193.5 yards, we can bump it up to 198.5. And then if you just like look at passing yards, you'll see like there are a lot of interesting things we can do here, right? So parlay play, we're bumping him up to 198.5. Take his under, right? And then you can see here, FanDuel hot streak has the line at 179.5. That will be a 20-yard difference from where we're getting it on parlay play, right? So like all these other books have him at 180.5, right? It's like if you look at the price of a stock and it's trading in the market at 180.5, $180, and you get the opportunity to short it, sell that shit at 198.5. It's a no-brainer. So that play seems interesting. But anyways, what we can do next is we can, let's go back to parlay play really quick. So let's try to find a slip, right? Again, some of these plays I've already locked in on. They're not going to let me bet more on, you know, Raheem. I would love to. This play's incredible too. So like Luke Musgrave, I have no idea how this play's still available. It's very, very good. So on parlay play, when you go through the math, and I can actually just share this spreadsheet in the chat, you got to hit 53.2% of your bets to be profitable. What up, guys? Jude should be instant over 2.5 for shots. Shit, that is not what I wanted to share. Well, let's see. Here it is. So here you can see is kind of like the math behind parlay play. So if you can win these over-unders, right, above 53.2% of the time, you're going to be profitable. So why do we like Musgrave's under? Why do we want to take him to go under? And you can see right here, I mean, this play is clear as day. I'm not sure why it's still available. As you can see here, in very high profit margin, right, like all the sports books, looking at the positive EV tool, all the sports books have Musgrave heavily favored to go under 3.5 receptions. You know, Bet Online has him minus 167, Bovada minus 145. You know, you can see here DraftKings, all these books are ripping odds lower on him. And again, like who knows? Sometimes it's lineup changes. I've explained this before, but like, you know, you'll see a lot of MLB line movements during the day as official starting lineups come out. You know, like whoever the Diamondbacks are playing, their starting hitters affect, you know, it affects like the opposing pitcher. If they're playing a bunch of bums who strike out a lot, the opposing pitcher's strikeout line has to move. So like, I don't know why the price moved, right? But you can see his under got a lot more favored. It went from plus 100 on DraftKings 8 hours ago to minus 140. Maybe lineups change. Maybe he's expected to get less targets. Maybe a coach said something about, oh, we're going to be, you know, running the ball more against the Lions. Who knows why the line moved? But you can see now all the books, like you have dozens of data points, all these books posting odds, right? Pinnacle, right? Known to be one of the sharper, smarter sports books, pricing this all the way down at minus 181. They're all telling you he's heavily favored to go under. So we're just following that data, right? So then you can see we got two other plays here it's recommending, Biggio over and Ruiz over. So again, I'm not going to be able to include this Musgrave play. I've already bet it, but what I can include is Ruiz and Biggio, right? And we want to take both players to go over. So there we go. And then what we can do is we can go here, and we have Desmond Ridder, so we already have that play. Damn, so here we got to play on Tua under. Right? So Tua under 282.5 passing yards. So what's the deal with Tua? So what we can do is we can go back here and we can look at Tua. Right? So you can see here, all the other books have him at 270.5. They're chilling at 282.5. So what you could do, and again, like books have slightly different odds sometimes from state to state, which is why you'll see on the sportsbook screen like PointsBet Louisiana, Kansas, whatever. But you can see here, all the other books have his line significantly lower. Again, like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to create a better model than the sports books. It's like, why would you try to do that? Like, PrizePicks is a $1 billion company. DraftKings is a $10 billion company. FanDuel is a $10 billion company. Like, how fucking arrogant do you have to be to think you can outmodel these companies and create better projections and manage lines and determine, where lines should be placed better than all these people who also have access to betting volume and the ability to move lines in any direction. If everyone starts betting 2 is over, sportsbooks will see that and they'll move the line higher. They're not fucking stupid. So that's why you really want to just like follow the data, right? But damn, there's a lot of plays available. So Trevor Lawrence under 244.5. So we can take a look at this play. All the other books have his line 234.5, whatever. And again, a lot of these plays you could middle bet, right? You could hit his over 234.5 on FanDuel, his under 244.5 on ParlayPlay if you wanted to. So we can take his under here. And again, it's kind of up to you. Like, do you want to use this slide the line thing or not? And again, like, hopefully you take some of these other picks as well, because this Musgrave play is great. But here we have 2 players in the same game, Desmond and Trevor Lawrence. So the question becomes, do we want to take 2 players in the same game, both to go under? So if we go to the Falcons game, so the Jaguars are slight favorites. So what you can do is you can see here, if we take both players to go under, right, that's actually positively correlated. So if you take both players to go over, you get plus 232. If you take them both to go under, you get plus 232. So you can see here, Trevor Lawrence, right, FanDuel has the same odds. Where is it? FanDuel has the same odds if you go to same game parlay. This is kind of interesting, right? FanDuel has the same odds on Trevor Lawrence to go over versus under, minus 114. But if you take Trevor Lawrence, if you take 1 over and 1 under, right, they're giving you a higher payout. So that means they think it's negatively correlated. So long story short, we got a good looking slip right here. This is what we want to lock in. And again, you'll see these payouts right here. So this is positively correlated, taking Lawrence under and taking Ritter under, right? And I won't do the slide the line promo. Maybe I'll save that. But you can see here, these payouts, 25, 2.5, 0.5. PrizePicks fucking rip off for these 6-pick entries, which I can prove to you because PrizePicks, they're only going to give you 25x, 2x, 0.4x. Right? ParlayPlay has higher payouts than PrizePicks, right? So you may like PrizePicks, but it's easier to make money on ParlayPlay. And they already moved the play on Ruiz. So that's the hard part of sports betting, is sometimes these lines can move fucking quickly. So we got to move quickly as well. So what do we want to go with? What's a final pick? What's a final pick? We got some combo props. We got some beauties out there. But anyways, what we can do is we can go to CSGO. And we can take a look here at Boom Bowl. ParlayPlay has his line at 37.5 every other data point, right? As short bettors, even if you don't use Hot Streak, you still care where they're setting lines because that's a data point for you to make informed betting decisions off of, right? So we can lock this in. Oh my God. Move the line on Tua on me. Oh, come on. So they're moving lines on me like crazy. So hopefully some of you were able to lock this in. So Kyle Pitts, oh, so this doesn't make sense to take because we're taking Desmond Ritter's under. Damn, so you can see there's some good overs in hits plus runs plus RBIs. So we can go to Suzuki. And we want his over 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. And there we go. We have another 6-pick entry. Oh my gosh. So they're bumping plays like crazy now. So hopefully you've been able to lock them in. Or at least some of them. And I know we've explained there's some good picks. So Will Smith, right? So again, why is this play on Will Smith? There we go. Thank you. So why is this play on Will Smith, profitable? Is it all boils down to why is this play? Again, these are fixed payout platforms. Everything boils down to your win rate. What percentage of your picks are you winning? So when you say, why is Will Smith a profitable play to go with on ParlayPlay, is all you got to do is look at hits plus runs, plus RBIs. You look at Will Smith, he's heavily favored to go over. Obviously, 2.5 is a high line. But you can see here, right? Like DraftKings is telling you like, yo, Mookie Betts is a little more likely to go over 2.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs than Will Smith. right? Mookie Betts is a little bit bigger of a favorite at minus 140 to go over. Will Smith is only minus 135, but still. So anyways, here's what we went with on ParlayPlay. So what states is ParlayPlay in? ParlayPlay's in a bunch of states. I think it's in basically every state, I think, in the U.S. I mean, we can look it up. ParlayPlay legal states. So you can see here, like whoever asked, where is it legal? Here you can see a full list of states where ParlayPlay is legal. We currently offer paid contests in Alabama, Alaska. I mean, you can see full list of states here. But let's go back to Underdog. Of course, they locked this play on Florian. So again, sometimes there's just not going to be, you can see they ended up removing it. Hopefully some of you were able to get it down. Damn, so we already have Tua under 286.5 on Underdog. So again, it's early value. A lot of people, oh, I would never take a Tua under. And it's like, you got to remember now, I have optionality, right? Like, sure, I bet early in the week, I bet Tua under 287.5, but now, or 286.5. But if I wanted to, what I could do is I could go over to FanDuel and pick up some over 271.5, right? That's how you got to think about, or over 270.5, even better, on PointsBet, right? And then I have this 16-yard middle, right? I got him under 286.5, over 270.5. And again, you have to remember his distribution is centered around like throwing 280 yards. He's not going to throw for 500 yards. He's not going to throw for 0 yards. So the yards in the middle, right, 250 to 300, are most impactful. So that play seems really good. So next, let's go to Fliff. Why don't we take a look at Fliff? And again, depending on where you're located, I'll do more about sportsbooks soon. I'll be using FanDuel a lot more and stuff like that. But depending on where you're located, like Bet365 is actually one of the best sportsbooks out there if it's available in your state. But it's not legal in a ton of states. So what we can do here is we can just kind of go here. Usually on the positive EV tool. Again, all this tool does is Sport Trade is like some exchange. You can see there's some plays on Betway. I don't know what books are legal in your location, but, you can go here to, it's pretty easy to look up. OddsJam has some resources for it, like a getting started guide. I don't know. Like there's a lot of places you can find all the books legal in your state. And you can see like there's good bets on Fliff. There's good bets on a bunch of different sports books. Some of these plays on Fliff we actually maybe locked in yesterday. But anyways, so it's not that there's never any good bets on FanDuel. I just, personally can't use it right now. But what we can do is you can take a look here at Fliff. So what's nice about Fliff is legal in basically every state. So this is a play we locked in yesterday. Oregon over 23.5 first half team total. You can see here, right? You can see here, right? I mean, this play looks solid as well. Seahawks minus 2.5 against the world's worst team, New York Giants. But you can see here, Oregon, their first half team total, right? The over is pretty heavily favored, minus 130, minus 134 on Pinnacle, known to be one of the sharper, smarter sports books on the EV tool, right? Minus 130, minus 134. Fliff is at minus 110. They're the only sports book with the under favored. So like getting the over at minus 110 seems pretty good. And again, what's really powerful about sports betting is if you can actually get an edge, right? If you can actually get an edge over the books, is your returns are in general daily. I mean, sure, we play some NFL bets on ParlayPlay, right? Some of these bets are on the NFL. So this game is, on Monday, October 2nd. So I can actually lock this in right now. So I'll pull up Fliff, and they have a desktop app, so you can just download it, kind of on your computer. But what was I going to say is in general, again, these examples are football, so not that good. But when you're betting on the MLB, there's 162 games in the MLB regular season. Even if you could have a 2% profit margin, on your MLB bets, if you're betting, that's a 324% ROI over the course of a season because your returns are in general daily. right? So here's that play on ParlayPlay, under 37.5. All the other books around 36.5. So we can go back here to Underdog Fantasy. So you can see, you know, a lot of value. I wish that play didn't move. I wish that soccer play didn't move. But, you know, you can see like Desmond Ritter, it seems like, you know, the market's not really giving him respect. The sports books have him like minus, you know, 190, whatever. So that seems decent. And again, like you never know when the best bets are going to occur. Like Underdog Fantasy has tons of lines, tens of thousands of lines. Sometimes when we hop on these live streams, there are a ton of good bets on Underdog Fantasy. You know, like I think yesterday we hit a bunch. This play's looking solid. So, whereas sometimes more of the value's on ParlayPlay. So having more books is obviously better. Damn. So here we go. So on PrizePicks, what plays are there, if anything? And again, looks like it's just a slow day of baseball. But if we go to MLB player outs, right, what's up with this play? So this play seems very good on PrizePicks. I wish they were running a promo. But if you look at PrizePicks, right, if we look at the MLB, this guy, PrizePicks has his line at 15.5 pitching outs, which obviously 15.5 versus 16.5. You know, like obviously pitchers generally don't get taken out, you know, partway through an inning, I guess. But you can see here, right, like DraftKings has his line at 16.5 with the over favored, right? The over is favored, and PrizePicks has the line at 15.5. So the world's worst bet of all time would be taking him to go under, right? DraftKings has his line higher at 16.5, and they have the over favored. Right? And it's same with these other sports books like Fliff too. So that's interesting. And again, a lot of times, you know, because it's not always clear, like why are these good bets occurring at this time, is a lot of times it's when lineups come out. Like you can see Underdog MLB just released official starting lineups for this game, which is why it's not surprising that we're starting to see line movements. So we want to take him over 15.5 outs. So we can go to the NFL. What were some of the plays that looked good yesterday? So I think we took Josh Jacobs under, which looked decent. So again, if we go here, so we have one really good play on PrizePicks in MLB play. And then if we look at Josh Jacobs, right, you can see he's heavily favored to go under according to the data points, right? I obviously follow a very data-driven approach. You can see here you take his over or his under, you're getting the same payout. But all the books have his under heavily favored, so we want to take his under, you know? So that play seems solid. And there's some combo props that seem decent. Shane Bieber, over 5 hits allowed. So again, like we have some good picks, but there's just, you know, ideally I want to place 5 pick entries on PrizePicks. So I have 2 really good picks. Some of these other picks, I mean, you can see here his earned runs is also decent, right? So his earned runs play also looks great. So lines are clearly moving in this game. So if you look at earned runs, he's heavily favored to go under 2.5 earned runs, right? So if we go back to the MLB, you know, this seems very good as well. Take him to go under 2.5 earned runs allowed or over 15.5 pitching outs. Both those plays seem incredible on PrizePicks. And you can see there's some combo props. So we could always go with a combo prop. Again, like we have 2 really good picks. Sometimes we can venture into the combo props. I know some states only allow combo props. So here we'd want to take the over 3. And we'd want to take the under 3.5 here, right? Yeah. Just not a ton of value right now out there. Just kind of how it is sometimes. So what we can do is we can go back here to Fliff. And again, this play on Fliff, I'll go ahead and lock in. I mean, again, like for the NFL, what's great is in esports, we've talked about it, is you don't always have a bunch of data points, right? Like A lot of times you're placing bets and there's 5 data points. There's 5 sports books setting lines on these esports player props. Whereas here in the NFL, it's like you literally, I mean, if you go here to like Alabama, if you switch your state here, Alabama, I think, shows all the sports books. You can see there are like hundreds of sports books posting odds on the NFL. So it's very clear. All these books have sophisticated models. They're all moving around lines, based on where action's coming in the market. You can see here, lines kind of moving towards the Seahawks a bit. So what we want to do is we want to take the Seahawks minus 2.5 at plus 135, and I'll hit it for the max I can, which is $250 on Fluff, right? So let's go back here to, and again, the way these books work is all these books work by charging a spread. That spread is called the VIG or the vigorish, right? So like, that's how books make money, right? Like you can see Pinnacle here, which is known to be one of the sharper sports books. They have a 20-cent spread in their market, plus 122, minus 142. It's kind of like a stockbroker. I'll buy the stock for 122, I'll sell it for 142, right? They charge a spread. It's how the whole financial industry works, charging spreads, right? So sportsbooks work the same way. They're kind of like a stockbroker. You can buy at 142 or you can sell at 122, right? Like that's essentially what they're saying. So what you want to do is the way a sportsbook works is they have a model, right? So this is called a no-vig fair odds calculator, and it just removes the spread. It's kind of like if a stockbroker tells you, yo, I'll buy this stock for $99, I'll sell it for $101. It's like, well, the midpoint, $100, is the fair price, right? The true price, right? Because you're removing their $2 spread. And it's like, okay, if they'll buy it for $99, they'll sell it for $101, they think it's worth $100. So it's kind of the same thing here as the way a sportsbook works, right? Is like Pinnacle, known to be one of the sharper, more sophisticated books. You put more weight into their odds. Is what they do is, right, they have models that spit out, hey, we think, based on all the action we're seeing in the market, our models, where action's coming in, our data feeds, whatever. We think the Seahawks minus 2.5, should be priced at plus 130, the fair price. Right? That's a market with no VIG, plus 130, minus 130. You can buy for 130, you can sell for 130, right? So they're saying, hey, the fair price is plus 130, but then they add juice to their market. They add the spread to their market. They don't let you bet at plus 130. They let you bet at plus 122. That's how they make money. They charge a spread around what they think is the true line. So you can see here the fair line, the no vig odds, which just means the fair odds or the true odds, according to every sportsbook. So OddsJam just weights every sportsbook. You can see there's a bunch of sportsbooks posting spreads. It just weights every sportsbook, removes the vig, right, to get the fair or the true odds according to every sportsbook, weights the sportsbooks, right, and then tells you, hey, here's where you're getting better value than the true odds or the no vig odds, right? Which is very similar to my favorite example. Facebook stock is trading in the market at $300. There are millions of people who wake up every day. Their full-time job is to determine if companies are overvalued or undervalued. So you don't have to know anything about Facebook. This is where supply and demand meet of the millions of investors. $300, right? So like, if someone told you, hey, you can buy Facebook at $100, that'd be a no-brainer. It's trading in the market at $300. If you could buy it at $100, that's a steal deal. So we're using market information to find these bets. But anyways, let's go back to PrizePicks. So let's go back. We have some good plays on PrizePicks. Maybe we can, find some more pairs, ideally. So again, like, how many MLB games are today? It just seems slow. No MLB, no UFC today. No NBA back yet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, 12. There's actually a lot of MLB today. I'm not sure why it just seems like there's not a lot of MLB bets available. So let's go back here. So we got these plays on our boy Brandon. Yeah, kind of all the same stuff on PrizePicks. So again, like, you could create a slip if you wanted to, but nothing worth, talking about. So we can call it a day for now. We got some good bets down on ParlayPlay. On PrizePicks, these two plays I think are really good. Josh Jacobs to not score a touchdown, Brandon to go under 2.5 earned runs, or you could take him to go over 15.5 outs. Both those plays look good. Travis Kelce, once books also start to release NFL player prop lines for this weekend, there will be more points to compare to, kind of see. Underdog Fantasy, there were some good plays earlier. There's still some decent plays. Ritter under 192.5. That play seems decent. There's some okay plays, but we'll call it a day for now. Not a ton of value early in the week. So anyways, we'll call it. See you guys. I'll be back on live later. No CSGO value I can really